Check 1 2. What is up, guys? What's up, guys? John Killingsworth here, and I just wanted to do a quick flip through journal video of 2019. Just kind of show you, I've been doing this journaling method for a whole year now. It's gonna be my second year. I just wanted to show you a bit about how do I do journaling? How should you journal? And why is journal so helpful to you? And first, why do you want to journal? Well, you want to journal because when you journal, it helps really to put your thoughts on paper. It helps to clear your mind, and whatever is going on in your subconscious and conscious mind, you put it on paper, and you can have sort of like a third-person perspective on everything you're doing. And you can see things more in a systemic, structural way instead of just being all nebulous in your head. Just the act of writing it down, whatever you're thinking, makes so much more sense. I remember I was having, with all the coaching calls I've had with my clients, one of my clients, she said I asked her a few questions, about her life, her inner beliefs and her fears, and she says oh, I don't have the time to take action, start my channel, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, what's stopping you? And then she just explained what was stopping her. And as she explained it, she realized how stupid it was, or how it didn't make any sense. Same thing when you put it on paper. It helps to clear things up a lot. So I'm going to show you my journal a little bit, and credits to Clark Kegley for this journaling method. They call it the 6 and 1 journaling method, where basically you use one journal to separate it in different sections. Instead of having one notebook for everything, one for school, one for whatever, you have one journal for everything. And if you're interested in his program, in his course, I'm going to put a link down below. Full disclosure, this is an affiliate link, but of course I wouldn't recommend things that I don't use myself, or that I don't think are great products or great courses. So let's get into it. So first of all, this is my journal. I put in a nice sticker here from ClickFunnels because I love the website. This is how I run my business. I write the year here, the name, Nameless, my channel, so this is all it's about. The first page, I have my contacts that you're not going to see, of course. My life purpose, which is to raise the world's consciousness through filmmaking, seduction, personal development, and art. Here are my top 10 values. What do I value most in life? My top 5 strengths. This is the Big 5 personality test. It's very interesting, the agreeableness one, that I'm right in the middle. Because this means that I'm not a people pleaser, and I'm not disagreeable either. I'm right in the middle. Extroversion too, which is interesting. I did a test about almost a year ago, so that might have changed, but I'm almost right in the middle to a bit more into introversion spectrum. Openness, very high. Conscientious, very high. Openness, which means creativity and all that, and conscientiousness, from what I remember, is that you're pretty much a workaholic. You need to achieve things. So that's pretty much me. I'm an INFJ, for those who didn't know. I mistyped as INFP for the longest time. I thought it was INFP, but I am an INFJ. Those are my 4 cognitive functions, and it makes complete sense now that I look at it. The second page here, I just put the main quotes, what I learned this entire year. Whenever I learn something nice or cool, or I want to put it down and remember, I put that down. The main one I'd say is through memento mori, the one of being mindful of death, remembering that you're gonna die, that your life is finite, and you gotta make the most out of it. Those are just nice quotes I put. So this is taken from the 50th law, nihil timendum est, however you pronounce it. It says, fear of nothing. Pretty cool stuff. This is a poem from the Gray. Once more into the frame, to the last good fight I'll ever know. Live and die on this day. Live and die on this day. I found it really. You should see the film. It's very good. It's really about manhood and survival, and I just find it amazing. I just have to put it there. They're just notes from this is the 4-hour work week. This is more business notes, business stuff that I write down. This is Psycho Cybernetics, amazing book. This is just Yeah, for like business stuff. As you see, I use a lot of colors just to make it more lively. Because if you don't have any colors, it's kind of lame. Having a book where you don't have any lines, so you don't have any limitations, and it's just a lot better because you can draw stuff. If you're a visual person, you have like pictograms, diagrams, or whatever you want to draw. The next section number 2, is gratitude, which I don't write in often. Actually, I should more, because it's like writing the positive stuff in your life, just very useful, very good for you. Okay, one second. I just had to talk to a client for a second, but I'm back here. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, gratitude journal. Gratitude is something you gotta do. I think once in a while it's good to like remember the good things in your life, positive things in your life. So I have a section dedicated to that. According to Clark Kegley, he says you should be doing it once in a while, not every day, because if you do it every day, it kind of like loses its efficacy and it kind of becomes a chore, and you don't want that. So that's what I do pretty much. I just write down the date, 5 things I'm grateful for, and I just, sometimes it's just like even here I wrote like the best compliments I've ever received in my life, like from 5 people. Some of them are like random people I haven't spoke to in like years. Sometimes the more longer format, as you can see, but often I just write, sometimes very short, sometimes really long. Like this is really, this is quite a few entries that I wrote back to back. So yeah, that's really short. I didn't write that much in that section this year, actually. Anyways, self-actualization. Really, this is like the section where you really talk about your personal growth. You can call it the growth section, where it's really all about, your personal development, you going up the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, getting better and all that. I'm gonna show you I think I have the pyramid of needs somewhere. So you have here, first you have physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging needs, self-esteem, self-actualization, and all that. So those are incredibly important for your personal growth. So you start off at the bottom here. Not at the bottom. You start off with like, do you have food? Do you have shelter? Do you live in a safe neighborhood where you're not like worried about like dying from being shot or whatever? Do you have love and belonging in your life? Do you have your friends? Do you have your girlfriend and all that? And you have self-esteem. You have some sort of you have something that makes you worth gives you worth as a human being. Do you feel like worthwhile? Do you feel like fulfilled? Do you feel like happy? Do you feel like that you're able to withstand the hardships of life? Do you feel like you have the confidence to go through the difficult times in life? Right? Confidence goes there. Then self-actualization is all like more of the kind of cherry on top, right? Cherry on top as in, maybe you do creative work, you really actualize your potential, like actualize your talents, your purpose and all that. And this is where like those 2 pillars, this is really where I work on a lot with my clients. Of course, the love and belonging, is really important. So this is something that, we touch on a lot, but really, in my coaching calls, people like come up to me because they struggle with, they don't know what they want, they don't know who they are and all that. This all goes with their self-esteem and their need to self-actualize. So actually people who reach out to me are they already at a good place, meaning, well, in a sense, because they already have, maybe they already have the money. They already have a little bit of money. They landed their first good job, maybe as an engineer, and they make like 60K or 70K per year, which is, pretty good, I'd say. It's average to above average, I think. It depends where you live, of course, but they're not satisfied. They're not happy. They don't have any self-esteem. They feel worthless and all that. So this is where we work on, right? Anyways, but I digress. Back to the journaling. After self-actualization, you have self-transcendence, which is really this is kind of like at the end of his life. Abraham Maslow, the guy who created the pyramid, he talked about how there's even a higher state above, life purpose, actualization, and all that. That's called self-transcendence. And you could call this spiritual enlightenment, what Buddha reached or Jesus reached, and all that, where you really become one with everything, with life, and you transcend yourself, you transcend your ego. Back to the beginning of this journal, of this section. So, at the beginning of the year, usually I write a lot of, a lot of goals, a lot of, goal setting at the beginning. Like, I remember, like, December 25th, 2018, that's when I wrote all this, just brainstorming for the year, what I'm gonna write down in the back of my journal, which is like all my goals here, which I will get into at the end. A lot of stuff. This is like 80-20 principle. 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. And I do a 80-20 analysis of my life, of my business, about every few weeks to every month. And sometimes I even do it every week sometimes. So just something very useful to do in order to like recenter yourself. This is what Tim Ferriss said in his book 4-Hour Work Week. It's important to do that type of analysis. Oh, this is interesting. This is taken from Psycho-Cybernetics, this diagram. So, okay, this is your self-image, okay, pretty much. And the black dot is kind of where you are at right now, okay? And the dotted lines is your self-imposed limits. And the black square is kind of like your potential, area of the underutilized potential, right? When you have a limiting self-image, is that you just confine yourself to this small little box. You think this is the real box, but no, the real box is this. And the truth is, actually, you can expand your boundaries. So let's say you're here, and you can expand your boundaries of what you can achieve, like very, very, very close to your ultimate limits. And actually, those borders should be, like, in my opinion, should be infinite. There shouldn't even be any borders, because I think you're limitless, in my opinion. So yeah, something to think about. And just a lot of it is like, you just like straight up journaling and like brainstorming a lot of stuff like about me. Sometimes I just write down about like some of my trips. I went to Toronto and I wrote about it. This is taken from the alter ego effect. Very interesting. When I was doing a lot of games, then I like crafted an alter ego for a game back then. So, Nameless top character traits that I wrote. So how do I want to exhibit or demonstrate those qualities? So I basically list down like the qualities I like to have in Nameless, okay? Which is pretty much my alter ego in a sense, because it's me wearing a mask. It's not necessarily me, it kind of is me, and it's becoming me the more I shoot those videos, which is interesting. But anyways, this is how it manifests in real life. Really went in detail. Those are like real people. So I'm just gonna like hide that. But anyways, those are like my inspirations for my alter ego. So pretty much classic 3 questions. What kind of man am I? What kind of life do I want to live? Who would be the best companion for that life? This is taken from RSD, Derek from RSD. It's really good stuff. Peak performance. Rest plus stress equals growth. Something to keep in mind, right? If you have too much stress, you burn out. If you have not enough stress, you become depressed and complacent. This is about actually finding your purpose. Okay, so this is taken from Jordan Peterson. He draw this kind of diagram that, like, first of all, okay, your North Star is basically you're trying to find your purpose, and you're going towards a direction, and you think this is where your star is, but then you realize, wait, that's not it, and then you change, and then you think it's there, but that's not it, and you change, and you constantly change throughout your life, and it doesn't matter really. The lesson is, it doesn't really matter if you're wrong at some point, okay? As long as you're moving somewhere, like by realizing something, failing, and realizing that's not the thing, you're really learning from failure, and the more you learn, the more you evolve, and eventually you reach your life purpose, or you reach your ultimate purpose. And even then, like I'd even say, like, there's no such thing as the ultimate star. Like, even me, like, I think I found my star, which is Nameless, right? Working on that business. But that'll evolve, probably, in some other thing. Who knows? Maybe, like, at some point I stopped doing coaching and I just do like films. I don't know. Who knows? So things can change. I wrote here my fears, my top fears, right? I was looking at actualize.org, and those are pretty much my top fears, which is like, I think a lot of people have those same fears. So fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being found out as an imposter, fear of vulnerability with new people, fear of becoming poor once I quit my job, because that's my goal, fear of ending up alone, you know, fear of never finding happiness. The next section, which is this is really personal. This is the meditations, I call it, which I just pretty much brain dump everything that's going through my mind. And it's important to have a section like this. Clark advises against having like writing a lot in that section and overwriting, because when you write too much, he says that you're just like kind of rambling and you're not coming to a conclusion or a solution. But I think it depends for who you are. Me personally, I like having this section really long, and I write a lot. And the more I write, the more I kind of process kind of, trauma, negative emotions. It depends who you are, right? If you suffer from depression or whatever, maybe it's good to have this section a bit longer. And have the, the business section a bit smaller if you're just starting out. My next journal that you're going to see, 2020, the business section is a lot bigger because I want to focus on that this year. But it depends on you, and depends what you want to do. So what I try to do, I'm going to keep it blurry, guys, because it's a bit personal. But here I write kind of like advice I'd give someone else in that exact same position, for example, right? And sometimes I do that, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I actually just write really long form like this, like in like one kind of block like this, okay, like a huge block like this, and just write. I write like a shit ton, and at the end I write, okay, so what do I take from this? It's always like that. So like a long list, okay. So then I write the date, and then solution here, right? I just write the solution here. That's the section. And then you got Nameless, the business section, where it's all about my business. So I was thinking about, how much should I price Dance Floor Game Accelerator? How much should it be? And then I was like debating, should I put it at a high price or a low price? I discovered it was better to put it at a slightly higher price because that's when you get people are more invested in the course when they pay higher price. When they pay low price, they don't give a shit. They're not going to implement. So that's why I kind of wrote here not to do list to be more productive, and things not to do, right? Procrastinate, whatever. 80-20 analysis, I talked about. This is what I do all the time. So for example, I just dump all the tasks I have to do for my business. So social media, YouTube, live streams, whatever, like what are the things that are giving me the most output? And the conclusion was that what I had to do more of was YouTube videos, live streams, and work on the online course. So that's what I did at that time when I wrote this in February. I actually have a coach. You're gonna see an interview with my coach. His name is Drew. He's really awesome, dude. It's really important, guys, like on a side note, to find a mentor, to find a coach. Whether that coach be me or whoever the hell that coach would be. Okay, it could be me, it could be anyone else. But you need some form of coach, you need some form of mentor. Because if you don't, whether it be in your life or in business, your progress is going to be really, really slow, or much slower than it should be. That's not what you want, right? If for $2,000 you can save 10 years of your life, right? And in 60 days you can learn the same than you would in 10 years, right? Is that $2,000 worth 10 years of your life? Yes, it is. Right. Yes, it might not be 10 years. Maybe you save just like 2 years. But isn't paying $2,000 isn't worth like banging your head, like avoiding banging your head against the wall just so you can save some money? No, you should be willing to spend towards your learning. And that's what I've done. I've paid coaches $2,000 and all that just so I can get to where I'm at today. By the way, my coaching is not $2,000. It's a bit cheaper than that, so don't worry about it. In case you were wondering, how much is the price? Get on a consultation call, I'll let you know. But yeah, so more 80-20. You see, I do so much 80-20 analysis. It's so important. I wrote down here, like in red, high impact task, right? Medium impact and low impact. So like, what are things that are giving me the most impact? Pretty much doing videos, coaching calls, sales calls, whatever. Medium impact are like, yeah, you know, like, I don't know, let's say I do a montage or a short film. It's really fun, but it's, you know, it's not giving as much for the, like, as much value in terms of business, but which is fine because it's making me happy, right? Low impact is like all that stupid shit of like, yeah, you know, like making posts, replying to emails, all this stupid shit that I have to do. Not that not that I don't like replying to your emails, guys, but you know, sometimes it's I'd rather be helping you guys like one-on-one in coaching calls. That's what I love to do. So business section over. This is a game section, right? Whatever, you know. This is just like me, what I learned from game, and you know, my timing pickup and all that. When you go out, right, and you want to meet people, you want to even build a social circle, right? So you start off with you meet people through, you know, social events, you know, whatever you want to call it, night game, day game, whatever you want to call it. You meet people, and then you get, you know, you get their information. Hey, we should be friends. Let's hang out again. You get their Facebook, Snapchat, whatever number. Then you hang out with them in person, and they become your friend, right? Or you could say that in a romantic. You can take that model and take it in a romantic way too. So right, you start off with, you know, you meet them, and I don't know how you meet them, through a friend, for example. Then you go and you take their phone number, like, hey, listen, maybe we should get coffee sometime, whatever. Just not a good line to use, I'd say, but anyways, but you get the gist. You go on a date, and then something happens. Maybe they become your girlfriend, maybe you just become like a short-term like thing. It depends what you want, depends what you want in life or whatever. So yeah, something I learned from getting good at anything, right? That's even in game or whatever it is. It's like it's like this graph here. Okay, so when you begin learning something, it's like you might have big spikes, but after that you might plateau, which is totally fine, totally normal. This can happen, but you have to continue on the plateau until it becomes second nature. You free up mental RAM, you learn a new skill, maybe you learn, I don't know, you learn how to like talk, you know, you learn how to speak and storytelling, and you get better at this until it frees up your mind. When it becomes ingrained in your mind, then you can learn the next thing. Okay, now I'm gonna learn to, I don't know, ask, I don't know, to listen better, become a more better listener, then you learn something else, and so on and so forth. So at the end, I have a section I call freedom, which is pretty much you write down anything you want, you draw stuff, pictograms. This is something interesting. I drew like a still life with skull done by Philippe de Champlain, which is interesting. It's a painting of representing life, death, and time, like the three essentials, like a big being of existence. Pretty much, you have a life, you're gonna die, and there's not that much time. That's pretty much what it is in a nutshell. So yeah, it's just me like writing a bunch of poems here. Here's some of my goals that I set down. Actually, this goal is I didn't make that much money actually. I made 1.5k in a month. Per month, right? That's the most I made in a month. I was trying to reach a higher level, but you know, for like an entire year, I had no mentors. That's one thing, okay? That's one thing. You have no mentors. You have no like people to help you. No coaches. You might bang your head against a wall for an entire year, which is, I guess maybe this is what happened to me. I don't know, but like this year I didn't make that much money at all because, I think I didn't have the right mentors. I didn't have the right coaches. So make sure you get coaching, right? Whether it be, you know, for the mindset stuff, which is what I'm good at, which is what I'm great at, or the money stuff, which is I'm not that great at, and that's why I need mentors for that. Get coaching, right? get that shit. And by the way, guys, when you set goals, it's fine if you set big goals and you don't achieve them. That's totally fine. The problem is when you don't set any goals. That's the worst thing. But if you set big goals and you get halfway through, or even like 40% through or 30% through, that's still better than nothing. It's still pretty good. So I would set some goals anyways. Now I'm going to show you my second. Okay. So what I did here at the end is I wrote different benchmarks here, and I wrote less goals. I wrote less goals in the play section because I mean I don't have that. I don't know what to put there because I'm pretty much focused. My one thing is my business. This is my channel, so I'm put a lot here. This year I want to play guitar every single day now. I want to do a 48-hour fast. I want to buy a bunch of stuff. So I have different sections this year. So I have a weekly planner for 2020 where I just plan my week at the beginning of each week. Gratitude section here with the smiley face. Then I set a self-actualization section like last time, and this is where I brainstorm a bunch of my goals here. I think I skipped a section though. Okay, so now this is the meditation sections, which is the same as next section is Nameless, all my business stuff that I didn't write in yet. And the last section, which is coaching and sales calls, pretty much where I speak to my clients, and I just begin that section here. So of course confidential information I'm not going to show. If you're interested in starting a journal, right, you're interested in starting a journal practice, getting your mind straight and all that, journaling is one of the best personal development tools out there. And if you want a good course for that, I have an affiliate link, full disclosure affiliate link. If you go down in the link in the description, there'll be a link called My Best Journal 2.0 course by Clark Kegley. I highly recommend you sign up for it. If you want more clarity in your life, if you're struggling right now in terms of mindset, in terms of limiting beliefs, overcome those limiting beliefs, and you want to discover your life purpose, or your passion, what you want to do with your life, because you have no clue who you are, you have no clue what you want, I want you to also book a free consultation with me where we'll pretty much assess and see where you're at right now and what you need to do in order to move forward. And at the end of the call, you'll be given the opportunity to join my 60-day coaching program. And if in case you're not a good fit or whatever, that's totally fine. No hard feelings. You'll still get an amazing one-on-one session with me. So sign up for a free consultation call, 1, and 2, check out the online course by Clark Kegley. Yes, if you want to start journaling, and I'll see you next time. Peace.